Cloud9 back with you. It's Sean and Darren with another bite size and more questions answered here. And we've been getting a lot of questions recently, actually, Sean, via the socials on investment and rental options and things like that. And we had a question recently: which is the best rental option, long-term or short-term rental? What's your thoughts with this?
Well, the general rule of thumb is that the amount that you will get per month on a long-term rental should be very similar to the amount that you get per week in the high season on a holiday rental. The pros of the long-term rental option is that you've got constant occupancy. So you've got regular income coming in every month, the same amount every month during the course of the contract. So you know how much you're going to get. You've got a tenant sitting there paying the bills normally. So it's easy to work out the financial side of it. The short-term letting, if you get it right, can be more lucrative, but you're not going to get 100% occupancy. In the first year, you'll be looking at probably 20, 25 weeks if you're lucky. So not even approaching 50% occupancy. But of course, you're charging per night or per week. So the yield, your gross yield, before you start looking at the costs, is always much higher. So you could expect, if you do it right and if you buy a property in a good area with all the right amenities that is attractive to short-term renters, you should expect anything between 8 and 12% gross, which is fantastic. It's a magnificent return. There's no bank offering that. But you need to consider your costs, because you've still got to pay the community fees, you've still got to pay your bills, and you've also, you've got to take into account every changeover. There's a cleaning fee, there's a key collection fee, there's an agent to pay, probably a commission for finding the tenant. So all of a sudden your costs all add up, and that means that your yield, your net yield, comes down from those heady heights of 8 to 12%, normally to anything between 5 and 7%.
Which
is still great.
Yeah.
It's still fantastic, but there's quite a lot of work involved to get that.
Yeah.
Whereas with the long term, you would probably be looking at quite a similar return, maybe between 5 and 6 or 4 and 6% return on the net after all the rental after all your costs are taken account. So similar money, but the long-term rental option, there's a lot less work. The short-term rental option, there's a lot more work. And then you've got to factor in what you want out of the property. So if you're buying it to also enjoy yourself, you'll want a few weeks in there yourself. So the long-term isn't going to work for you. So it's a personal thing. It's also how much work you want to put in. I mean, I had a property in Bath in the UK, beautiful place, and it made a lot of money, but a lot of people used it for weekend breaks. So the average stay was like 2.5, 3 nights. So that meant a lot of changeovers. That's where your costs come.
Yeah, they're not always cheap, these changeovers.
No, well, you've got to get cleaner, you've got to get your linen laundered and all that sort of stuff, your towels changed, and that can almost be like one night's costs. And if you're doing that, 20 or 30 times a year, then all of a sudden that heady yield figure comes right down. So you just got to factor all those things in, the bills, the community fees. If you're looking at renting somewhere and your community fees are as big as a mortgage, then that's going to eat into the margin as well.
The fact is, like you said, if you want to use it yourself as well, or if you just think, it's an investment, I'm just going to let somebody else get on with it.
Yeah.
All swings and roundabouts, really.
I mean, I have a couple of investment properties here in the Marbella area, and I actually bought both with the intention of short-term letting, and I've actually ended up long-term letting them both. And they provide me with a very nice return and very little hassle. So
less of a headache sometimes, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Great. That's question answer there. Till the next time on Bite Size, we'll catch you then.